Hey, it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, coming to you with another unstoppable story show. Come on in, and bring a friend. It is the 21 days of gratitude, the 21 days of gratitude where we talk to you about gratitude so that you can have an attitude of gratitude. I've been doing this for a number of years now around the Thanksgiving season to talk about the harvest, because in Thanksgiving, we are thankful for the harvest. We're thankful for the labor that we've done throughout the year. And this is our time to celebrate and bring in the harvest. And we call it the 21 days of gratitude because for 21 days, we are working on that attitude of gratitude. And if you do anything for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Now, we had a special guest that was supposed to be with us this evening. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties. So let's give him a second, see if he can come in. If not, we've got something else in the package for him. So we can continue to stick and stay because we're grateful that you guys are here. We're grateful that you guys are watching us on Instagram. We're grateful that you're watching us on Facebook. We're grateful that you are watching us on YouTube. And definitely, if you're watching us, go ahead and click out somebody. Let them know that the Unstoppable Story Show is on the air. And before we jump into what we're grateful for this evening, with the little time that we have with you, just want to let you know that the Unstoppable Story Show is sponsored by BTBY. Got somebody trying to get in, not having a little bit of difficulty getting in right now, but it's brought to you by BTBY. BTBY is an affiliate of the Be Better Now show, and it provides speaker training, coaching, and media representation. Visit us at comechangeyourlife.com. We're going to take a quick break so that we can see if we can get our guest on. If not, we will jump back in and we will just give you some more information about what we're grateful for. But when we do that, before you look for someone who's going to be a speaker for your event or someone to be an MC for your event, why don't you think about bringing the TLE to your next event? That's the Terrence Leffridge Experience. That's me. That's your boy. If you want to have someone who's going to bring the energy up in your room, who's going to keep you on task and keep you on time, and it's going to make that event not just a conference, but an experience, then you need the Terrence Leffridge Experience. Why don't you reach out to me at terrenceleffridge.com and set up a discovery call, and we can see if you and me are a match, and let me bring the TLE to your experience. Here's a little bit of what you get with the TLE experience, and we'll be back on the other side.
My name is Brenda Ringwood. I'm the founder of Becoming the Better You. And a few years ago, I hired Mr. Unstoppable, Terrence Leffridge, to come and be part of my group. I wanted him to be my MC, but he delivered more than that. Not only did he keep the crowd engaged, he knew when to bring the mood back up. He kept the program going. He was a lifesaver for me. And we've been working together ever since. I have seen him in action on many, many stages, not only as an MC, but as a speaker, as a coach, as a mentor. And let me tell you, he's the real deal. I highly recommend Terrence Leftridge for emceeing, for speaking, for coaching. But let me tell you, when he steps in the room, you know you've got a winner.
Yes, yes, yes. If you're looking for the TLE at your next experience, your next conference, your next workshop, then come on, reach out to me. There's the link right there on the screen. Go on over to TerrenceLeftridge.com and set up your discovery call. Welcome back to the 21 Days of Gratitude on the Unstoppable Stories Show. We are so glad that you guys are here. 21 days of gratitude, 21 days where we help you have an attitude of gratitude. And we do have our guest in the back room, stick and stay, and he found a way to make his day on the Unstoppable Story Show. Now, I got the pleasure of meeting this guy just a couple of months ago at our annual BTBY conference in Kansas City. And let me tell you, when you meet this guy, there are just some people that you meet that can change the energy in the room. They can bring the energy can be down and they just bring it up. They're like a light in the darkness. And this guy has that energy. And I guess he gets that energy because people call him coach. So he has that natural ability to coach people and help them move to the next level of their greatness. And he's here to share with us what he's grateful for on the 21 Days of Gratitude. Let's welcome to the stage Coach Carmelo Garcia. Hey, Coach.
What's up, my beautiful brother? Good evening, man. So excited to join you. This is
so glad you were able to make it.
Yes,
I didn't know if it was gonna happen. I had my pivot ready. I was gonna be grateful anyway, but we are glad that you are here.
When in doubt, always, brother, just count on Coach G to show up and show out.
All right, well, let's get it started. So you know what? I just gave you an intro based upon what I know you, and I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to meet each other and start forming a relationship in 2024. But here's the one thing I know, Coach G. Nobody can introduce themselves better than the person themselves. So why don't you take about 30 seconds and introduce yourself to the Unstoppable Stories audience?
First of all, thank you, my brother, for inviting me and, of course, being part of the Coach Unstoppable Terrence show. I love it. And so with all the humility and the attitude already of gratitude in my heart, brother, I just am grateful to be here. I serve as a high-performance executive and business coach. I love serving others, adding values to others, being an ambassador for the kingdom. And I have had a great journey. I went from my career to my calling. And as I tell everyone, my name is Carmelo, and I am a recovering politician. So it's great to be here on your show. But from a pedigree standpoint, I've had the blessing of pursuing an incredible overachiever's career in academics, serving as an adjunct professor, having 3 graduate degrees, going to Stevens Institute of Technology and Harvard to get my master's in community development and public policy. And then, of course, a lineage in politics, serving as a state legislator, school board president, you name it, for over 20 years, a deputy mayor. And so all these titles that I was pursuing when I was in the worldly sort of pursuit of life. And now I went from my career to my calling, from a transformation that I was elected to represent over 365,000 people in the state of New Jersey, to being an appointed and a representative for the Lord in the kingdom, but yet using the spiritual to drive the secular and bringing out people's best version by helping them, find their purpose and discover their best version through the formulas, the curricular, and the great blueprint that moves them from success to significance. So I've been doing that for the last 10 years. I'm a certified and licensed coach by John Maxwell, the great and amazing GMT, and as well as HPX Academy, Brendan Burchard, and the likes of Brian Tracy and Dr. Stephen Covey. So I've been very blessed, my brother, to really pursue a calling that now just services others and just loves others, and really is able to take that package, a well-rounded sense of being from government, politics, to then private sector, America, the corporate world, doing HR trainings, because I also own a company that's called Coaching HR, and then we also own a app that's called Motivate You, that's designed to give access to folks, to coaches, so that they can be motivated. And lastly, being president of I Am for CG, which is I Am for Coach God, the greatest of all time, brother Terrence. So hopefully that covered it in that short window of time that I have. So
yeah, man. I mean, we have nothing else to talk about. That's the end of the show. Thank you guys for showing up. Wow. You know what? And the amazing thing that I'm sure you're grateful for, Coach G, is that you've been able to do that litany of things that you said on your resume by the age of 27. Look, you don't look an age. I want to know the secret. I want to know the secret of how you have been able to compact 50 years of adventures into 27 years of life. If you can share that with me, then I'm stroking a check right now. Okay.
Oh, God bless your heart. It has been embracing of life's most precious journey and being grateful, as your show 21 Days of Gratitude is all about, just being grateful for the hardship, the struggle, the adversary, the adversity, and being able to know that no matter what, right, we never give up, because we take that fear and flip it upside down, and we take that faith that is given to us, and we drive that faith forward. We rely on faith, which is, right, the substance of the things hoped for and the evidence of the unseen. And then we take that energy that God blesses us with, and we're able to say, okay, what is most important? How do we win? Important now. Take that acronym. What's important now? That's how we win. And so prioritizing the meaningful things of life and being able to take the action that is necessary, my brother, to have the resolve and the resiliency to now testify and give a testimonial that can help others become their best version, truly taking them from average to good, adopting better to be great, and really positioning them for life purpose and becoming the best leader, becoming the leader amongst leaders. Like, that's what I've learned as a servant leader, being transformational, being visionary, and being able to just simply love others, as Jesus loved his followers. So I've been blessed to really have that interaction, that encounter, that experience. And now with that empirical, background of being able to put all that together, being in a world where it was kill or be killed, right? You're a gladiator, right? In that world. And then it's a Mortal Kombat sport, Terrence.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like an MMA, blood sport at times. And then you realize, you just can't serve two masters. You have to identify with what is most meaningful. Where does your hope and confidence come from? And so my identity, is now today, right, built around and revolving around the Lord. And that's where God has taken me. When you have those moments in life, you get the second chance to do it better, to do it right, in righteousness, and to do it with so much love and light that you become, salt and light to others, and you're able to really help them, escalate and elevate and be empowered and be equipped and have this edification of like, hey, I believe in you and I know what you have. And so the executives that I work with, CEOs and C-suite folks, they've been very blessed and fortunate as they tell me, right, that I am a senior advisor to them and that I can help them scale their business. I can help them, become stronger communicators, public speakers. I can help them really understand how to cultivate a culture of love amongst their workforce and drive productivity, right, profitability and performance to a higher level. So I've been very fortunate to work from some esteemed, executives, and as a coach and other coaches, because I do coach other coaches. So that's very critical in my journey. So I'm blessed, and I just thank God that I'm here to share that with you.
Yes, absolutely. And you hit on something fabulous. Even coaches need coaches. So it is
Yeah,
great to always be around other people that can pour into you, because as coaches we're pretty much givers. We're pouring into other people, and many times we find ourselves trying to pour from an empty cup, and that's where other
mm,
coaches like yourself come into play, because when my coach's cup gets empty, I'm looking for somebody who's going to be able to pour into me, fill me back up, make me overflow so that I can give to the other people from the overflow. So we thank you for what you're
amen.
doing. You touched on some great things, and you touched on a transition from the world of politics to the world of praise. And we're really going to touch on that a little bit more after the break. So can you stick and stay with us, Coach G?
Absolutely, I'm all yours, my brother, to be unstoppable.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is Coach Carmelo G hanging out with us on the Unstoppable Story Show, talking about the 21 days of gratitude. And after the break, we'll share more what he's grateful for today. But one of our other sponsors of the Unstoppable Story Show is Becoming the Best Speaker, the BTBS Academy. It's one of the offshoots of this great organization, BTBY, Becoming the Better You. If you are looking to become a better communicator, if you're looking to become a better speaker, and if you're looking to take your speaking excellence to the next level, then come on over to btbspeaker.com. We're having new classes start in 2025, and we want to have your face in the place for our 8-week course to help you become the best speaker you can be. Hey, and here's a little clip if you want some more information. Yes, indeed. New classes starting in 2025. So go on over to the website now, btbspeaker.com, to get some more information on how you can get signed up for our 8-week courses. Thank you for coming back to the Unstoppable Story Show. We're chopping it up with Carmelo Coach G. And Coach, you mentioned to me that you were grateful for some things. And let's just kick that around a little bit. You said you're grateful for God and love. Man, those are two powerful things. Actually, when you think about it, they're both the same thing, because God is love. So,
That's right.
why is that so important for you to share with our audience today?
So it's incredible. I'm a kid who came from the projects, right? 10 years old, man, I was burnt out of my home, my family. That's during a time where landlords are paying arsonists to burn Hispanic and Black families out of their home to make way for gentrification in the New York City area, New Jersey in particular. And by the age of 10, you know what? At 2:30 in the morning, Dad woke us up, despierta, despierta, wake up, wake up. And he ushered us to the rear of the building as all it was, dark black smoke that smelled like, a furnace burning. And you could hear the crackling of the wood and the fires literally
Mm,
nipping at your heels, and having to jump out that third-story apartment window was like one of the scariest and still vivid moments in my life that destroyed our whole home. And of course, we ended up homeless. And then my dad was the patriarch of the family. He turned to drugs because he could no longer sustain the family, and unfortunately, we lost him to the streets. And I was a rebellious kid, man. I was a rebellious kid who then we moved into public housing, and growing up in the projects, it was a survival of the fittest. It was, kill or be killed. So, the streets raised me at that time. And I kind of knew God by the virtue that we were Catholic and we would go to church on Sunday, but we kind of sinned 6 days of the week, and on the seventh day we got absolution, and that was it. Drank the wine and ate the bread, and we thought, okay, we're good. and we're saved, right? And then what happened was, as I got older, I was a rebellious, teenager, and by the age of in high school, by my junior year, 17 years old, I had a counselor said to me, you know what? There's so much potential in you. You have this light that you have not seen yourself, because there's a darkness there that still unfortunately follows you. And so I always thought I knew God. I thought, yeah, I knew God existed. It was real, but I did not have that relationship through his son, Jesus Christ. And so as the years went on, I was in high school, very rebellious. And then I was challenged by my counselor, Joe D'Amato. And he said, I want you to take, this exam, and I want you to see how smart you are. And so I did. And I
Mhm.
became the first in my family to get to Seton Hall University. And that was like, a night and day experience, my brother. That was just incredible. And so from then on, I knew that there was a potential in me. There was giftedness. But, when you're growing up in the hood and you got bills to pay and a family to feed, man, you turn to other things. You start hustling, weed and mescaline, and you start doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Nothing to be proud of, but that's what the streets, in
Yeah.
that environment, it's prone for you to be cultivated in that manner, and that's all and that's how you grow up. And then
Yeah.
eventually you get a realization, my brother, that God is real, and he gave his one and only son in John 3:16 for you and I to know what is love, because he loved us first. And so I always wrestled with him because of the fact that I was upset. I was angry at what he did to my family and how he took my dad away, my home away, and destroyed your family structure. And so for decades, right, I was just always a rebellious person who
Yeah.
was just an overachiever. I was always
You were
just
angry.
striving. Yeah, I was angry. You're right, brother. But I use that fuel, right? I use that fuel to turn my disadvantages to my advantages. And so I use that fuel because I also suffered from ADD as a young man. But I always told everybody that's an advantage, because that was my, in acronyms, is the giftedness that was given to me. And I would say ADD is a beautiful thing. Why? Because if you have an attitude of gratitude, and 1% is what happens and 99% how you react to it, what's going to occur? The D, you're going to be driven to pursue
Yeah.
something greater that's bigger than you. And then you're going to be determined to achieve it. And no matter what, nothing is going to stop you, which goes to Coach Unstoppable, right? Yourself,
Yes.
Terrence, and what you're doing here. And so, fortunately, I was blessed in my latter years because I had a child at the age of 19 and then a child at the age of 20. And they were like twins. And I was fortunate to raise them together. And I had, a beautiful mothers that were very loving. And then I had, my wife, who eventually waited for me. And as I got through college and then went into grad school and then went into the private sector, being a mortgage banker, a licensed banker, and then becoming an assistant vice president, and then realizing, oh my God, like I got into it for the ideology to help people find the American dream and buy a home, because I had lost my home. But then it became about P&Ls, right? Volume, corporate setting, and it
Yeah.
was in,
Yeah.
and the ideology of it was no longer there. But because I was always a activist and advocate, right? I said, go back and give back to my community. I got to go serve them. I got to go represent them. And so that's what happened, brother. And in 2001, I took the leap. I dropped the corporate sector and I went into the public sector, and I became the first minority director of health and human services and community development. And that was at the age of 26. And then after that, brother, I just continued on in this journey to serve people and become a public servant and become a servant leader. And so I got elected, the following year, after I became a director, to the school board, and I wanted to change the Board of Education. Because here's the thing, Terrence, when I was graduating high school and I went to get into Seton Hall University, I had to take an exam and write an essay, and my high school had failed me, as most urban high schools. Not anymore, but back then, we're talking about, mid 90s, right? So what's happening is the high school had failed me on how to craft an MLA style essay, right? Intro, body, conclusion. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to make a difference back at my Board of Education by making sure that no child graduates high school that had the potential to go to college without knowing how to write an essay and to take prep courses for college. So I was able to achieve that because I got elected in 2002, and I served the school board for 13 years, served as president for 5 years, and then I ascended to the state legislature, and I became an assemblyman representing 365,000 people. But there was always adversary along the way. There was always these obstacles, you know what? Because there wasn't a lot of opportunity for Black and brown representatives. The reality was that while the minority community voted, we didn't have, representatives at the time who really
Yeah.
looked like us and
We
that
didn't have
related to.
we didn't have people that we could see ourselves in doing that. But what I love about your story, and I thank you so much for sharing it with us, is you mentioned something right after the break. You mentioned what some people call a diagnosis and what other people call a label. And I'm so grateful that you turned your diagnosis into your destiny.
Amen.
And you didn't let a label stop you from creating a legacy. Everything you said after ADD wasn't a diagnosis. It was actually the word ADD. You added on to your life. You didn't let the obstacle of a diagnosis stop you from walking on this trajectory to your destiny. Because of that add, not the diagnosis, but your willingness to add to your lifestyle, you added yourself into your banking industry, you added yourself into the political arena, and now you've added yourself into service for the greatest of all time, the Lord himself. But at each and every stage, you didn't succumb to the diagnosis ADD. You rose to add on to everything you could be. And because of that, I'm sure your kids are grateful that you've been able to turn a label into a legacy that now they can follow into. And anytime somebody tries to put a label on your kids, they'll just say, I'm going to be just like my dad. I'm just going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And so it's a great story that you're telling. And I'm just inspired by the fact that you've been able to do so much with your life in spite of a label that somebody tried to put on you. And so taking it back to the being grateful for God and love, are you still angry at God now?
I love you, Coach Terrence. That was beautiful. I mean, well articulated, and I thank you for the harmony that you've given me and the melody of really accepting what I was given in my authenticity to be able to produce and give to others today, right? Because I'm absolutely not. I am blessed. I am grateful for him. Why? Because there was a mantra he gave me, Terrence, and it was, I can, I will, watch me, right? Can being your ability, will being your mindset, and watch me being the action that you have to take. And if you say it with me 3 times right now, Terrence, see exactly how the dopamine just to boost you up, which is unbelievable. Say it with me, brother. I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
Watch me.
Watch me. Watch me now. I can. I will.
I will. Watch me. One more time, brother. I can.
I can. I will. Watch me. Absolutely.
Make it different. And here's what happened. So in this journey, I was like the prophet Jonah, right? Running from God. I was like, nah, I got you, fist pump. I got you, giving him a pound. And I didn't realize that all along he kept telling me, while you think this is what I want you to do, I know I have a greater purpose for you and a calling in the spiritual realm of the kingdom, right? And I was like, man, Lord. And then I became like Jacob. I was like wrestling with God, right? And I was like, no, I want my blessings and I want to be able to become the next John Maxwell meets Les Brown and Stephen Covey, right? And that's what my vision that I thought it would be, that I created, right? Because like I said, I was that overachiever and I was like pedigree, certifications, and everybody used to tease me and say, man, what are all those alphabets after your last name? And I would laugh. And it was several certifications that I had worked hard to ascertain because I wanted to be well-rounded. I wanted to be a world-class, right, trainer, facilitator, coach. I just wanted to be able to serve others in a manner that I knew I was a guru in different spaces, right? I was a guru in redevelopment.
Yeah.
I could take any community and build it up from urban planning, and give it a purpose for the New Jerusalem, as some say. And then I knew that in my dream, what I had as a dream, Terrence, was to become the very first executive director of the same housing authority that I grew up in once I was homeless after the fire and moved into the projects, public housing. And guess what, Terrence?
You did.
What did I say, Terrence? What was the mantra that I said, brother?
I will, watch me. Yeah.
And brother, and in 2007, I was chosen to become the executive director of the same housing authority that I grew up in. And I served there for 7 years. And then, of course, I felt like I was the Moses to my people, ready to take them to the promised land, right? I was doing transformation, and I was taking them out of this ghettoized mentality into the riches of what they could ascertain if they, you know, went out and strived to achieve and work hard to earn what it was that, you know, at this moment, God had planned for them, right? A Jeremiah 29:11 moment, right? For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, the plans to prosper you, not hurt you, the plans to give you hope and a bright future. And so here I was, I'm thinking, all right, great. I'm leading my people, right? We're going to go to the promised land. We're going to change this environment, change the culture. And I was doing it, and we were having progress, and the community was working together, and the people were aspiring to achieve greater resources and greater careers and greater opportunities to get out of public housing, because it was never meant to be generational housing. It was meant to give you a step up, right? But generationally, it became one of those platforms where it was like, oh yeah, you know what? My daughter and my granddaughter, they will all evolve into living in this environment. And the mistake that we make, Terrence, is that we end up conforming to the environment, right? There's the law of conformity, and unfortunately, it holds us back. We get stuck. And I'll tell you this, I was asking someone, I'm going to ask you this question, Terrence. What is the greatest decision that we will ever make in our lifetime, brother?
I think the greatest decision is to let go of the control and get with the source. And it's the source is what I call God. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it other. I call him Daddy.
My brother, I love that. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. And that's the mistake that we make today, right? That the society, social media, the world, right, in the flesh wants to program us to believe that we are the source. The moment that you think you're good enough because you're the source is the moment that you are now lost and losing, because you have to know there is a greater source, and it is not you.
Yeah.
Only with the source can you become the source. But here's the answer, Terrence. You ready, brother? Here's the answer.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You will follow. Who you will follow. Think about that for a moment. How many times probably in your life you followed the wrong person and then you followed the right person? I mean, we put it in perspective where, you know what, I ended up learning the greatest and ultimate leader is who I needed to follow, who kept saying to me, follow me, follow me. And then when I did, oh my God, Terrence, that abundance of peace, joy, love, happiness was remarkable, my brother. It was unbelievable, because remember, I'm now the executive director of the Housing Authority. I am the state legislator. I have all the power that I could possibly have, right? Because that's what I was chasing. And behind every treasure is a what? A tyrant, Terrence.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So I was chasing that, right? And then I was trying to use that for my own self-aggrandizement, not my self-ambition, right? Me getting the praise, me getting the glory. And all along, God was saying, no, I didn't allow you to get there. I didn't allow you to get there simply for you to think that it's about you. But that's what happens. We program ourselves, right?
Because sometimes we can't get out of our own ego, our own ego. You know, we find ourselves trying to climb the mountain because that's what, as you said earlier, that's what we've been programmed to do. That's how we've been reared up, especially as men. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, climb that mountain. But as one of my good friends, Sakoni Prince, who you met at the BTBY conferences,
I read his book.
What does it look like when you climb that mountain and you look over and find out you're on the wrong mountain?
That's powerful,
That's
brother.
something that a
That's
lot of people
powerful.
have to, something that a lot of people go through. And I went through it myself. You know, I had a similar anger story with God. I lost my good government job, Coach G, after 10 years. That good government job that paid for me to get married, that good government job that paid for the house that I lived in for 10 years, the good government job that paid for that nice car that I had in the driveway. I lost that in an instance. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I got so mad that I went outside at 1 o'clock in the morning into the backyard of that house that good government job had paid for, and I had a conversation with God.
And
Nah,
here's the
I'm
thing.
lying. I had an argument with God. I
I
looked
was
up into the sky and I said, "You said you would not forsake me. You said you would be there in the midst. I need you, God, to be here right now and change my situation 180 degrees from where it is right now." And Coach G, he gave me one word. Would you like to know
give
what
it to
that
me.
word
Yes,
was?
give it to me, brother. Give it to me.
Well, actually, it's three words in one. So I'm gonna break it down before I give you the word. The first part it was is UN. It's
Mm.
the not. It's the things that we do not have. It's the things we do not say. It's the places we do not go. It's the things that we have not done to get to the next level that keep us in the second word, which is stop, stuck, and discouraged.
Mm.
We are complacent, comfortable, any other word you want for it, but we're in that quicksand of life because we feel like we are focusing more on the things that we do not have as opposed to the last part of the word, which is called ABL.
Able.
Instead of focusing on those things, Coach G, that you are able to do in spite of those things that are stopping you. When he gave me this one word, this three words in one, Coach G, unstoppable, that completely changed my life. And just like you, ever since I got that word from God, my focus, my energy, my passion has been helping people to focus more on what they're able to do and less on what's stopping them, and that will make them unstoppable. And here's the kicker to that, Coach G. When you tap into the source, that's when you become unstoppable, because since he is unstoppable and we are his children, then by default we are unstoppable too.
I love it, my brother. And that's what leads me to the next word that I'm grateful for, love, right? Because here's what happens, and you said it. When we're in our ego, the acronym is we edge God out. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, we don't realize because the world, right, sets these desires and these milestones, and I call it pursuing the standard American dream, right? It sets this bar of you pursuing the standard American dream. But here's the thing, when you take the standard American dream, Brother Terrence, SAD, it spells what?
Sad.
Now, when you go through that chasing the standard American dream, you become sad. And here's what happens, brother. You either stressed out, anxious, with anxiety, depressed. Now spell that, brother.
Wait,
Stress,
so I
anxiety.
think your earbuds are going in and out, so we missed part of what you said.
I said, spell that, right? You either get stressed out in that pursuit, you get anxious with anxiety, or you have depression. Now spell that, brother Terrence.
Stressed out or depression. Help me out with that.
Stress, anxiety, depression. What does that spell?
Sad.
Or you turn to the coping mechanisms of what? Sex, alcohol, drugs. Spell that for me, brother.
Sad.
So
Yeah.
what happens is we are programmed to pursue these measures of success. There's standards, what they call critical success factors, right? In my world, what we do KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? The real measure is going to be who you chose to follow so that you can leave a legacy of love and how you impacted others, added value to others, serve others selflessly, right? So that they can become their best self for Him. So when I can help you become your best self for the Lord, because you have been chosen, like I've been chosen, to serve that purpose of every day becoming more and more like Him, which I call it becoming Him, it is amazing. The magnetism, the multiplication, because what was the first command He gave you and I? Be fruitful and
Fruitful and
multiply.
multiple.
Be
Yeah.
fruitful and multiply. So when we put that into work and we realize that it's no longer about us, it is about the skill set, right? The empirical knowledge, the wisdom. When you put the pedigree and all of it together, right? We call it like a sofrito. It's a recipe that we call a sofrito, which is like the best of everything with a little bit
Yes.
of sazon and adobo. And then now you have this amazing, delicious, right, meal that is incredible, my brother. And that's where I am today. And I wasn't always like that. And I tell people, I don't run and hide from my past. I use that to my advantage so that others can see my scars. Why? I would never follow a general who doesn't have scars. A lot of people follow people, right, who are wounded still, and you can't do that because they haven't been healed, because healed people heal people, hurt people hurt
Right.
people. And the
Yeah.
reality is that when you're in that conundrum and you're wrestling still with your, I call it dirt, brother. This is the acronym, with your disappointments, with your insecurities, with the rejections of others and life, and with the troubles and trauma that you've had, I can't possibly go and help someone else become their best version if I myself don't address that inward dirt that still is present.
Absolutely.
But it's
Absolutely.
necessary. But it's necessary because right through that fire, like I went through the fire to grow from the fire. That's why you become the diamond. And if you ever experience, the process of a diamond, it's
The
amazing.
pressure.
But once it is through the pressure, right? It's what happened. It's unbreakable. It's like gold. When
Yeah.
gold is refined, right? Guess what? It's uncorruptible. You can't. That's it, right? And the beauty about it is that we are like that. So I've been through the purification process, and God said to me, I'm going to purify you like gold so that you can now be my servant leader, and become the person who I've chosen you to be in the representation of the kingdom and to serve as my ambassador. So I'm grateful, and I thank God every moment of my life, and the love that I give to others every day is unbelievable. Just today, I'll give you a great example, Terrence. I run a program. We architected a program. It's called the POD, Performance Opportunities Discipline, for teenagers. And we launched it in April, and it through my church, with Beautiful Center. We do gaming. We do 30 minutes of exercising, right, to teach them wellness and fitness. And then we do 30 minutes of a huddle where we teach them about leadership development, high performance habit, and their relationship with the Lord. And guess what? And I walk in today. We've been consistent with about 8 to 10 kids. And then today, remarkably, as God would have it, brother, 8 months later, right? I got 21 kids, teenagers in the center. And I'm like, Lord, you're amazing. And that's just one of the
Yes.
things that I
That's good.
volunteer. That's one of the things I volunteer in charity to give back, right? And guess what? And my lead instructor, he was kind of feeling a certain way, man. I wish the numbers could get better. I said, brother, God gave me Proverbs 3:5-6 as my first scripture to literally tattoo on my heart, brother. And it was, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your
Not
own
your own
understanding.
understanding.
Acknowledge him in all your ways. He will direct your path. And so that, my brother, is the scripture that I anchor myself on every day. Even though he gave me 5 right off the bat, that he just like hit me. It was like I felt like a Muhammad Ali moment in the ring. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I got you, Lord. But I'm getting there, Lord. And then what happened, as he would show us in every way, that Goliath came, and it was him who defeated that Goliath that then transcended me into what I am doing today. And I am just, brother, grateful and just thanking him every moment. And I thank you, brother, for allowing me to really share this love and this energy that hopefully is exuding through to let everyone else know out there that they too can become the best version of who God has destined them to be if they just trust Him, if they just trust in the Lord with all their heart, mind, and soul, brother. That's why I love BTBY, becoming the
Yeah.
better you. That's why I
Well,
love it.
well, we love you too. And definitely when we come back on the other side with Coach Carmelo G, we're going to get some final thoughts of gratitude for this episode of the 21 Days of Gratitude. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be right back after the commercial break. And we are back getting some final thoughts on the Unstoppable Story Show, the 21 Days of Gratitude, hanging out with Coach Carmelo G this episode. Thank you, Coach. You've been dropping some nuggets, and I know the people who are watching us, they're watching us live or watching us in the replay. They're really going to be grateful for the time that they've been able to share with us here during this episode. I'm grateful that you've been able to come. I'm grateful that you've been transparent. I'm grateful that you have not done like some people who could have done, that just come on and talk about their glory. And you know, when I'm coaching clients, I said, you know, many people just want to hang around people during their glory, but very few want to hear the story. When you hear
That's
the
powerful, brother. I
story,
love that.
when you hear the story, Coach G, that makes the glory more glorious, because you know they had to go through something to grow through something to get to where they are right now. And you took us on a journey from the projects all the way up to the promised land, and you have kept your promise to continue to bring other people with you. And that's where, you know, the label to the legacy is going to be something that's just, I know it's just going to continue to bless people that you come in contact with. You know, they say you can judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And you are bearing great fruit. What you up there in Jersey? You know, my wife is from Jersey, so shout out to all those people.
That's right.
In
Shout out
Jersey.
to Jersey.
Yes. So I'm gonna give you a second. Give us a minute, final thought as we wrap up tonight, talking about gratitude. You can tell us more about God and love in the minute, or you can just tell us what we should do now that we've experienced being grateful for God and love.
I love the how-to, my brother. You know, and in the blueprint, there's a book that I have coming out in December. You know, it's called "I Can, I Will Watch Me: Moving from Success to Significance." The blueprint, and I think the key. There's some great keys that I will share at this moment, and I believe number one is once you've answered the call, there's a season where you get anointed, right? There's a season where you come out of the wilderness and you get anointed, and then you go into the season of disappointments because God's going to test you, right? He's going to test your faith, and he's going to want to know, are you really serving his interest? And you could do it secularly, but you have to allow the spiritual to lead the secular, right? And so I got clients, you know, from all walks of life, right? I got a client who's the CEO of the corporate Diwali, Manisha. I got another client, you know, Chris, who, you know, runs a major organization, Hive Athletic. I got another client, Bogdan, who runs a major, you know, $50 million corporation. So you can help anyone transform if you create an iterative, right, transformative process for change. We as coaches, and in my world today, I focus on the ESP, which is the emotional intelligence, the spiritual intelligence, and the physical well-being of who you were meant to be. And how do you move from where you are, and you could be successful, right? Wealthy, right? Healthy, you know, but you might be morally bankrupt, or you might have certain goals that you still haven't achieved, and you're not happy with yourself. But yet, in the facade of it, everyone else thinks that you're doing great, you're doing amazing, because that's what we put out there in the comparability of social media. However, deep down inside, you're still hurting, you're still broken, right? You still have darkness and you have closet sin. And the reality of it is, brother, that the giftedness that I've been given, and I am grateful to Lord, give him all the praise and honor for how he has refined me, designed me, so that I can be his vessel in a powerful way. And I can take anyone, of course, and help them transform and adopt the change that's necessary, and even in their business, right? Because I focus on scalability of your business, taking it from 1 million volume to 20 million volume, right? Like that's all doable. But at the end of the day, if we're not thinking with being fruitful and multiplying, and we're not planting seeds so that the harvest can be beneficial to others, then we will fall short. You will fall short. And so when you think of the meism, you're always going to get stuck with being centered on something that is empty. It's void, right? And you're never going to have fulfillment. So and the way you have to embody fulfillment is to move to the weism, right? Which is the mantra the Lord gave me was, we can, we will, watch us together make a difference. We can, we will, watch us make a difference. And if we just trust in our process, trust what he's designed us to become, if we trust him, then I truly believe no matter where you are and what faith, if you trust God as the source and you use everything that you've been giving, right, in your experiences, in your practical pursuit of becoming the best version of who you are, my brother, you will absolutely find fulfillment in serving others and adding value and in loving others, because love is the way, right? He's the truth, the way and the life, and it's love. And so when you live the truth of the word and you live by what virtues you've been given to give away as a gift to bless others, it is amazing what you will discover. So I want to leave everyone, with those keys, right? Those Coach G gems, so that they can understand that we are here as you're putting on this show for this platform in 21 Days of Gratitude to let everyone know, hey, this is why we're grateful, because we have the ultimate leader. We have the ultimate access. We have the ultimate kingdom, and we have the ultimate king. And so we can serve you by trusting the process of what we bring in a blueprint to bring you to a transformation and a metamorphosis that is bar none the best you will ever experience, my brother. So that's what I want to share with everyone. I love you all, those that are watching, that will see the replay, and I love you, Mr. Unstoppable, the coach that, immediately I saw your light, brother, because the spirit recognizes the spirit. And I was like, Brenda, Sister Brenda, this brother he got the it. He has that it, and it's that light, and it's amazing. And you were that salt and light, brother. So I'm just grateful for what you're doing and being able to set vehicles like this up so that other people can hear, not only be motivated and inspired, but to adopt. And here's my AI, brother. You ready for this, Terrence?
Yeah.
Application and integration. That is my AI, brother. Forget about the artificial intelligence. If you yourself just apply and integrate what you are given from a coach like me, a coach like you, or from other mentors and other people that are out there striving and thriving and doing it in a manner that is very selfless, that is very much about you. It's very much about loving you and adding value to you. It is amazing who you can become. And so I'm excited, brother, that with the companies that I'm working with, my IM4CG, which is, again, I am for Coach God, the greatest of all time. I get to do high performance executive and business coaching. And then I got coaching HR, which I get to do corporate trainings and to incorporate the things that not only I have learned in my life and in pedigree style, academia wise, but also the trainings that the good Lord has given me. And lastly, the Motivate You, which is an app that I would ask folks to download, which is incredible. You can get a coach for $19.99 a month, brother. And it is amazing what it can do for you. So I am grateful, and I thank you, and I love you, Coach Terrence, and I'm looking forward to where the Lord takes me in this journey on the next chapter of my life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Coach G, somebody is going to be listening to this, and they're going to say, man, I got to get some more of that Coach G. where can they reach out to you? Social media, website, email, phone number, how you want them to reach out to you?
Oh, my brother, they can go to im4cg.com. They can go to my Instagram handle, im4cg, or they can just call me or text me, 201-344-9630. I'm very much old school. Or email Coach G at iam4cg.com. iam4cg.com, Coach G, brother. So I'm grateful, and I'll give anybody who reaches out, man, just my time free, the first 30 minutes. And then after that, like yourself, Coach Terrence, right? We do need a compensation in order to be able to survive and still pay the bills and feed the family. But I do it all for free.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you, man, for taking some time out of your schedule to join us to talk about gratitude. You definitely have the attitude of gratitude, but more importantly, you've got the 4CG. You are the epitome. You're going to be the greatest of all time because you're connected to the greatest of all time. And we're just glad that you were able to pour a little of your rain down on us, blessing us on this episode of the Unstoppable Story Show. Will you come back again and be a guest on the show?
Absolutely, my beautiful brother. Indeed, anytime. I'm honored, and it's a privilege to be on your show. And I just, again, thank you for doing what you're doing to serve others and to give glory to the Lord in this sense of sharing how grateful we are. Thank you for the 21 days of gratitude. Thank you for your existence, your presence, and us being present at this moment, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, guys, that's Coach G, Carmelo Coach G. Check him out again. Going over to his website, iam4cg.com. You can check him out on social media. You can watch the replay again if you just didn't get enough of this. But this was a great show. We thank you guys for watching. We thank you guys for sharing this. And we thank you guys for taking this hour out of your life just to have gratitude. We're grateful for you in this harvest season. But wait, we're not done because we're doing these I Am 21 Days of Gratitude all the way up to Thanksgiving. So you may have an opportunity to tell us what you're grateful for as well. Drop me a paragraph at tleffridge at unstoppablecoaching.com, tleffridge at unstoppablecoaching.com. And who knows, you may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. And in closing, wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day, but have an attitude of gratitude and make it an unstoppable day.
Hey, Coach Terrence, yes. Can we close it out with the mantra? Can we close it out when we can? We will watch us.
Yes.
Ready? On the count of three, my brother.
Here we go. We can. We will.
Again, we can.
We can. We will. Watch us.
We can.
We can.
We will.
Watch us.
Make a difference.
Make it an unstoppable day. Take care.
Love you, brother.
My name is Brenda Ringwood. I'm the founder of Becoming the Better You. And a few years ago, I hired Mr. Unstoppable, Terrence Leftridge, to come and be part of my group. I wanted him to be my MC, but he delivered more than that. Not only did he keep the crowd engaged, he knew when to bring the mood back up. He kept the program going. He was a lifesaver for me. And we've been working together ever since. I have seen him in action on many, many stages, not only as an MC, but as a speaker, as a coach, as a mentor. And let me tell you, he's the real deal. I highly recommend Terrence Leftridge for MCing, for speaking, for coaching. But let me tell you, when he steps in the room, you know you've got a winner.
After